Today on Life's Potluck Buffet, we're going to talk about a new dawn, transformative change in the world we live in, and what's on the horizon, and what the limits of the horizon are. So stick around for today's episode. I'm John Paulus. Thanks for joining me. I am going to put in the description a video for you to watch and listen to. You could just listen to it. And that is Nina Simone's song, Feeling Good, because that's all about a new dawn. So that is going to be in the description. Check it out when you're done listening. Or you can check it out now if you don't want to listen anymore. I'm happy for you to go and listen to Nina Simone at any time. So if you're still listening, thanks. I appreciate you staying tuned. Okay, so here we go. I have the Life's Potluck Buffet deck. And the bottom card is Passions Are for Hobbies, which was one of the 3 cards we drew yesterday. Remember, we did our Venn diagram episode, and we had 3 cards and saw what overlapped and what didn't. And you can check that out. It's entitled Remember Venn, so you'll see that on the title card. Before I shuffle the cards, I actually need to come up with a question for the cards. And as I said in the introduction, today's episode is about the horizon of change, what's on the horizon for change, and also the limits of the horizon of change. I was listening to an interview with a business leader today, and I noticed that they were talking about the parameters within which change has to happen in a particular area, and it was green energy, and it was, drawing a kind of contained shape for the parameters of any change that's going to happen in any sector or in your life, because there's some parameters that we can't get. There's a limit. We can't get beyond certain parameters. And so, for example, there might be a cost parameter, right? There might be a cultural and social fact that is not going to change, and that's a parameter. And then there's going to be a parameter to do with the limits of knowledge, for example, and the limits of technology, right? So there's an example of 3 parameters within which a change might happen. And any change that happens has to take into account that you can't go outside of those parameters. So let's see what the cards say about this. What are the limits and how do we discover them? The parameters for change. All right, here we go. I'll do 3 casual shuffles and then 1 big shuffle. All right. And today, thinking about that interview and that triangle of parameters that I heard about, I think I'm going to draw 3 cards again to tell us what the parameters of change are for us. Okay, so here's card number 1. It's card 22. Some small action you did ended up being big. Often what seems like a small thing becomes a big thing, and what seems like a big thing ends up being inconsequential. So start with something you consider absolutely trivial that resulted in you encountering a person or an opportunity that led to something big. Okay, so that's one parameter, is the size. Okay, that is one thing that we have to figure out. We can't escape something having a scale and a scope. Right, so that's number 1. So scale, scope, and size. So whatever change we're thinking about, think about the scale or scope beyond which it cannot exist. So there's a minimum and a maximum there. So scale and scope. Size is 1 parameter. All right, let's look at parameter 2 by drawing another card. I'm shuffling again because, well, that's how we do. I also left the card out of the the card I just drew, I didn't put it back in because I know these cards. I know what's going to happen. We're going to have the same card 3 times, and they're going to laugh. And I won't be laughing. So, okay. I see the card that I think we need to pull out. Well, how do I get to it? All right, there it is. All right, our second card is card 15. Speak where you want to be, and the way will appear. When it occurs to you to say to yourself, I want to be X, say it to yourself and no one else. Then operate as if it were already true and be ready to say to others that it is true. So give that a try, and let's think about that in terms of the scale and scope. That was parameter 1. This is parameter 2, and this parameter has to do with the limits of believability of your claim for yourself and by extension for others. So this is about understanding believability and possibility. So that is the second parameter. So we have the size and scope, the possibility and believability of a change. And those are the first 2 things. Okay, so now we're going to go for the third factor. All right. Oops. Okay, there's one. Oh, wait. Yeah. All right, I'll take the bottom card here. And it's card 31. Get people's names right. Oh, I just had an experience today where I made sure I got someone's name right, and I did. So I want to mention that. I hope you are doing that every day as well. So get people's names right. This is one of Life's Potluck Buffet's rules, and I'll read it to you. We are our names truly, and your effort to get people's names right will make them feel that they are visible as who they are. When we get names wrong, we're accidentally erasing and replacing someone's identity. Write and speak people's names correctly. Ask again if someone's name doesn't stick, or ask the person to help you pronounce it. This should not be overlooked as a small thing. So this is the third factor. It's interesting that we kind of made a circle here because we started out with small things that ended up being big and big things that ended up being small. And here, this is a seemingly small thing, or sometimes we think it's a small thing, but it's actually a really big thing, and that's getting people's names right. So I want to say for card 31 here, we definitely have the idea of the right people being involved in whatever change is happening, and that is our third parameter. So it's the people parameter. And you can't get outside of that, because if you don't have the right people, then that change is not going to be on the horizon. So the people, getting the right people and getting their names right, getting the right scale and scope and size, and understanding the plausibility and possibility of the change. So those are the 3 limits that we have: people, size, and plausibility. So reality. So that reality part is a third limit of any change that's going to happen. Understanding the parameters within which change can happen and change is possible is absolutely essential to understanding how to negotiate that change going forward. And it's how you understand what's on the horizon, what's possibly on the horizon, and most importantly, what you need to do to make those changes happen.